What it do, House Crew? Back here for another video. It's been a long while. Y'all been waiting for the UFC 318 picks. I know y'all have been waiting for what my opinion is on this card. I think this card is actually pretty decent. I don't think it's the best card I've seen. Definitely could have been better, but for a card where the BMF belt is the main event, honestly, it's a pretty decent card. Like there's a good amount of fights on here that are definitely guaranteed finishes, guaranteed KOs. And the main event is a guaranteed banger. I mean, I don't think the card deserves so much hate, but it also doesn't deserve that much praise considering not a lot of ranked guys on here. But to be honest with you, who cares, What matters is how the fights are, and if the fights are good, the fights are good. I'm just like that. But we're gonna be doing a full card. We're gonna go through the whole full card, and we're gonna make our picks. Not we, me, because I'm the one making the picks. Anyways, let's get started. Let's go all the way to the bottom. Got the first fight of the night: Carly Judas versus Nicole Cagliari. Um, Straight off the bat here, I'm just gonna go Carly Judas. I think Carly Judas showed a lot of improvement compared to her first two fights. I think her knockout over Duben is, I think it's a very good indicator. And it's weird because Judas and Cagliari both lost to the same person by split decision for their first fights. It's kind of weird, but I'm gonna go with Judas. I think her striking is really sound. I think she has made a lot of improvements compared to her first two fights, and I just think that she'll be coming in here, I think, a lot more improved than a lot of people would say. So, I mean, Callie already has some good grappling skill as well, but I just think, Carly Judas is the taller fighter. She got the longer reach. And I just think in a striking battle where I feel like I don't think these two people are going to be grappling as much, I feel like in a stand-up battle, I would go Carly Judas. So I'm gonna go Carly Judas. I don't know about KO. I'm gonna say Carly Judas by decision. Usually with these type of fights, with kind of like a lower tier WMMA fights, usually ends in decision. So I'm gonna go with that. Next, we got Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. Bruno Ferreira was supposed to fight Ikram Alaskarov. He pulled out, and now he's fighting undefeated Jackson McVeigh. I'm gonna go straight off the bat here. Again, Ferreira is winning this by KO. Now, although I do think McVeigh is pretty good, I do think he's getting fed to the wolves here. I don't think this is a good first fight for McVeigh. And although McVeigh is the taller, he's the much more rangier guy, 5-inch reach advantage. I think Ferreira just has the striking presence, he has the pressure, and he definitely has the power. I think it's going to be a very brutal fight for McVeigh. McVeigh's coming here on short notice, about a couple weeks. And if you look at his competition, it's just nowhere near the competition Bruno Ferreira is. So I'm going to go with Bruno Ferreira by KO. I think he's just going to come in there. I think he's going to dominate on the feet. And I could see maybe a round 1, round 2 KO. Maybe he catches McVeigh with a hook or something, while McVeigh maybe overextends himself. So I'm going to go with that. Next, we got heavyweight fight: Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. See, Ryan Spann looked shit in his last fight. I'm gonna be real. I bet on Ryan Spann to win just because of the fact, lighter man skill. And while the Cortez Acosta at this point, he wasn't really good. He wasn't really good in my eyes. Now that he's beat Sergey Spivak, he is kind of decent. He definitely deserves his ranking. But Ryan Spann looked way worse. He looked way worse than I thought he would have. And it just kind of surprising because you're a light heavyweight. You have the skill advantage, And he's a pretty tall light heavyweight too. He's a very big heavyweight. And he just looked really bad against Waldo Cortez Acosta. Cortez just looked like the athletic guy. Maybe I just didn't think Cortez Acosta was that good yet. I'm not saying he's good, but maybe I'm sleeping on him. Maybe I am. And he is going to fight Sergey Pavlovich for the Qatar card or something. Not Qatar, I think Shanghai. But he's going to fight it for the Shanghai card. I'm probably gonna pick Pavlovich, but honestly, Cortez Acosta isn't that bad, and Pavlovich has fallen off a bit. But back to the fight. Brzeski is kind of a easy opponent for Span. I think this is the matchup he should have started with in heavyweight. Just get handed with a Brzeski, like just like how Kenny Dijajachaku was, getting handed kind of these like low tier heavyweights that kind of show like kind of a good way to introduce themselves. I think Span getting handed a ranked opponent that high like Cortez Acosta. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I was surprised, but looking back, I'm not surprised at all. I think Span's not that good. Lost to Anthony Smith twice. I don't think people wanna. I think people forget about that, but he did. But I think Span knocks out Brzeski. I think he makes easy work of him. I see this being a round one knockout for Span. I don't see this as a fight he's gonna lose. Brzeski does have some good grappling, but I think Span is gonna be able to defend a takedown. To think he'll definitely not gas as much against Brzeski. I feel like now that he's more acclimated to heavyweight, he'll be able to condition himself better. And Brzeski has just been getting knocked out by everybody, and I don't see this being any different. So I'm going to go with Ryan Span by knockout. Maybe round one. Round one knockout. That's what I like to say. Like, a lot of these fights are guaranteed knockouts. Like, Bruno Ferreira, even the Judas fight could be a knockout. Who knows? Next, we got Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. And honestly, it's weird just how much I don't trust Jimmy Crute nowadays. Now, let's be real. These guys were literally scheduled to fight in 312. Crute got Bellato replaced Prachy now, and Crute destroyed Bellato in the first round, and then afterwards Bellato was able to kind of pick up the pace, win the second and third round, and then they ruled it as I think a split draw or something. Yeah, but I think Jimmy Crute's gonna win this fight. I think Crute's grappling is pretty much underrated nowadays. I think he'll be able to take down Prachnio pretty easily. And, Prachnio has some good moments here and there. He's a pretty decent striker. He did beat Cleo Roundtree, which is a win that is aging very, very well. But it was before the Thailand stuff, the Thailand arc. People forget, man. Cleo Roundtree, he went to Thailand and he became a monster. Like, it's just stuff like that. But I think that Jimmy Crute could get a win here. I see this being like a decision win where maybe he'll just utilize his grappling to an effective way, maybe get him down, take him down. Maybe this could be a submission too. He does have some handy submissions in there. He submitted Paul Craig, which is in the first round too, which is very impressive. I do see this fight going into the ground. And I don't trust Prachnio's submission defense that much. He has been submitted by some people. He got submitted by Pietrino. He gets submitted by Bukauskas. And yeah, he got submitted by some people. I just don't I just don't see a way he'll be able to combat Crute's grappling. On the feet, I think it's pretty even. I think Crute does have some good power and some good knockouts. And Prachnio is a very good kicker too. Like, I think he was the guy who did the whole like in the pocket head kick thing. And he's a very good striker too. But I don't see. You look at the record, right? Yes, Crute hasn't won in a while, but honestly, I just think style-wise, I think Crute wins this fight. I think this will be his first win in a while, so I like to see that. So I'm gonna go Crute. Right decision. I think he's gonna steal the first 2 rounds. I think maybe in the third round or something like that. Maybe Prachnio may be able to get it back, but I think Crute will be able to dominate on the ground pretty easily. He destroyed Bellato on the ground, who. Bellato isn't bad. I don't think he's horrible. I think the last fight kind of did put a stain on him. But Bellato isn't even a bad fighter, and Crute was demolishing him in the first round. I think he just gassed in the second and third round. So, yeah, I think Crute is pretty decent. So, I'm going to go Crute. Next, we got a fight I've been waiting for a while. Islam Dulatov. He's fighting Adam Fujit. And I watched Islam Dulatov's first fight in Dana White's Contender Series live. He's an impressive guy. I like his striking. He's a very aggressive fighter too. Like, he will put the pace on you. He will put pressure, and he has good knockout power. and I think he's a very strong guy. And with Fujit, chinned by Morales, or was he chinned or submitted? I don't remember, but yeah, he just losses to Morales and all these other stuff. I just don't think that this is a good fight for Fujit. His chin is very questionable, and against a guy like Islam Dulatov, who will be looking for a knockout, who will be putting the pace on him, I see this being a knockout win for Dulatov. I'm gonna go a round one knockout. I think at the end of the round, at the end of the round he'll be able to corner Fujit against the cage, just hammer him, and then be able to get like not a standing TKO, but maybe like a TKO. So they're gonna go Dulatov by KO. Pretty simple. A lot of these fights aren't that bad to choose. Like they're not super hard to choose. Next, we're on to the prelims. Yeah, early prelims are stacked, but prelims, man, we're gonna get there, man. We got Itaba Gautier versus Robert Valentin. Itaba Gautier really impressed me. I remember, I don't know why I did this. I picked Medina to win against Gautier because I didn't know much about Gautier. I saw his DWCS. I thought Medina was gonna be able to outdog him and maybe catch up in the second or third round, but no, Gautier just chinned him, like just knocked him out cold in the first round. He has really good power, really good striking. It seems like his striking is very dynamic. For a guy like his stature, people keep calling him Francis Ngannou, but I think he's a way better striker than Francis Ngannou. He has really good power, really good pressure. Like, he will put the pace on you, and he hits very hard. If he was able to chin Medina like that, who literally was just taking hits from, I don't know, Reese? Yeah, I think Zachary Reese just, like, all day and night just, like, took hits, and he even impressed Dana White with how good his chin was. I mean, if he was able to knock him out in the first round just like that, I don't see it looking good for Robert Valentin. Robert Valentin has been looking shit. He got destroyed, like battered by was it Loader? Yeah, Loader, and then he got pretty much manhandled, like out wrestled and just dominated by Torres Finney. It wasn't a good fight. I thought it was a pretty shit fight for Torres Finney, but even then, Robert Valentin was just getting ragdolled on the ground. And I don't know, Robert Valentin hasn't impressed me so much. He has not impressed me at all. I don't know what people say are like the hype around him, but he does not impress me. Now he's fighting against a taller, much more dangerous guy. It's just I think Gautier gets a knockout. I'm gonna go with round one knockout. It's just pretty simple. A lot of these fights are just guaranteed knockouts. Maybe they were just trying to go with that, and that's why we didn't stack this card as much with the ranked fights, because maybe they thought the unranked guys would get more knockouts. So I'm gonna go Taba Gautier by round one knockout. No, I think I put round one knockout for like the past two fights, or for a lot of the fights, but yeah, gonna go with Gautier by round one knockout. I don't think Valentin's good at all. Next, we got Francisco Prado versus Nikolay Verentennikov. I don't know why I said it like that. Don't be fooled by the name. Prado's winning this. The problem I have with Verentennikov is that you would think he's good, but he's not. He's not good. He hasn't looked good in his last few fights. And Prado, honestly, okay, his loss to Jake Matthews, it was still very competitive. It was a competitive loss. I just felt like Jake Matthews is kind of good now. Like, I just don't think that a loss to this version of Jake Matthews now, where he's kind of dialing him in his own. I don't think it's a bad loss. I don't think it. I don't think it is. But he loses to Danny Barlow, and I don't know. That I just don't know. I don't think he's that good. And then he loses to Michael Morales. He got destroyed by Michael Morales in the DWC. I remember. Yeah, that's now I know where I recognize him, because he did fight Michael Morales on DWCS. He got destroyed. I mean, it wasn't destroyed, but it was a very clear win for Morales. Loses to Varlor and then loses to Vanderford, Paige Van Zandt's husband. Gets KO'd by Vanderford. And I'm gonna be real, Vanderford's not good. Vanderford is not good at all. I don't fuck with him like that. And if you're losing by KO to that guy, and honestly, he's kind of a scummy guy too, trying to punch him afterwards. I'm gonna be real. I think Prado takes this. I don't think Prado is gonna be a bad. I don't think Prado's gonna have a hard fight with this. Prado's a really good striker. He has some good pressure, and I think at this point, I think Valentinov just sucks. He just sucks. So gonna go Prado. Gonna go Prado by decision. Think it'll be a pretty competitive kickboxing battle, but I think Prado's gonna land the better hits. I think pressure that Prado has is gonna be able to turn this fight towards his favor, and I think he's a good prospect. I mean, losing to Jake Matthews isn't bad. It is not a bad loss. So I think Prado, maybe he could move up down to, honestly, I think he can move down to lightweight. He's just a very small guy for welterweight. But yeah, I think Prado can win this fight. So I'm going to go with Prado by decision. I think it's going to be a competitive kickboxing fight. But I see Prado winning this. I think Prado's going to be better on the feet. Next, we got the. I thought it was feature prelim. Apparently, it's not. I'm surprised too. Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. Now, I mean, I've been waiting for this fight. I mean, they did fight. They did have a fight before in the casino, and now we're actually gonna see them fight. Marvin Vettori, I don't know. I don't see the hype. People are betting on Vettori. I see a lot of people say, "Oh, Vettori might win this." Brendan Allen's been looking really shit. He has really bad fight IQ. Has Allen looked shit? Honestly, he lost 2 times, right? He lost twice in a row against Brendan Allen and then to Hernandez. But those aren't bad opponents to lose to. Hernandez is a beast. He's a beast on the ground. He's such a good wrestler, and he has really good cardio. And Imavov wasn't really that bad of a loss, considering Allen was destroying him in the first round, and then in the second round, he was outstriking him as well. And even in the third round, I felt like if he wasn't trying to chase for the takedown, he would have won that fight. I think Allen's decision making and fight IQ is pretty bad. But look at his overall skills. He's a decent striker. He was going toe to toe with Chris Curtis, who is a good striker himself. He has a really good He has good grappling as well. He submitted Paul Craig very easily, and then he was able to get some good close submissions on Hernandez in that fight too. Like Hernandez was not having an easy time on the ground. Like it was definitely very dangerous for Hernandez to always go for like Allen. I felt like Allen was trying to go for submissions, and he did almost get some. He did almost get him in some good chokes, but I feel like his fight IQ is kind of where he falls. But he doesn't have to worry about that with Vettori, because I feel like Vettori is one of the most mid fighters I've ever seen. Like if there was a perfect definition for mid, it would be for Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori, just name one thing Marvin Vettori is good at. I mean, not good at, but one thing that he's elite at. He has okay striking. He has okay wrestling. His grappling isn't really shown that much, but he has okay grappling. But when you're getting outstruck on the feet and you're getting outpointed by Dolidze, and I'm not like I'm gonna be real, like getting destroyed, getting like I want to say dominated, but you got 4-1 by Dolidze. It really lowers my confidence that you can win against a guy like Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's still very good. He's still a very good fighter, and I think his fight IQ isn't gonna make much of a difference. Vittori's not really. Vittori does have some good moments. He did rock Jared Cannonier in the first round. He did get him in some trouble. Vittori has some good moments too, but I mean he. Let's be for real. Like, it's amazing how he was able to become a title challenger. It's amazing how he was able to be top 5 for so long. I think literally the beginning of 2024 he was top 5, and now he's like number 10 still. Like he's still ranked, which is just it's crazy. It's crazy, man. But do I see Brendan Allen finishing him on the ground? No. Do I see him finishing on the feet? No. I mean, has anyone finished Vettori on the feet? I don't think anyone can try. I don't think Brendan Allen's going to be the guy to chin Vettori. So, I mean, I think Brendan Allen overall is the better well-rounded fighter. I think his striking is really good. He was outstriking Imavov, who is honestly a very good striker too. He's a very good striker. And after his win against Izzy, I feel like Allen's performance against Imavov is aging very well. Allen's a really good striker. He's a very good grappler. Like he was able to hold down Imavov, who has pretty good takedown defense and grappling defense. He was able to hold him down for a whole round in Imavov's home country. I know the French Commission were doing some sneaky stuff with him. He was saying about that. I don't know if it was true or not, but they were doing some sneaky stuff with him. But besides the point, I just think Marvin Vettori is just he's not good. He is not good. I don't know what the hype is. I mean, I get it. He has an unbreakable chin, the chin of steel. He's from Italy. He's funny. I like Vittori. I mean, I think Vittori's pretty funny. But Allen's just a better overall fighter. And although his fight IQ kind of sucks, I don't think the fight IQ is going to be so bad. I think Vittori isn't that dangerous where you could sway around towards him. Especially in the Delite fight, he just looks shit. It's like, I think the layoff has affected Vittori a lot. And now he's just. I feel like he's kind of a Kevin Lee. He's just beyond his prime somehow when he's only like 31, 32. I think he's like 32. Yeah, he's so young. And I mean, Brennan Allen's still young too. I think this is going to be a good fight for Brennan Allen. I see Brennan Allen outstriking him on the feet. I think he's going to have the better hits. I think he's going to be able to take him down and hold him. So I see this being a dominant Brennan Allen performance. I see this going to decision. So I'm going to go Brennan Allen by dominant decision. I could think this is going to be a 30-27 Allen. It could be 30-27 Allen. So, Brennan Allen by decision. Next to the final prelim. Feature prelim. Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Now, I made some memes about Kyler Phillips. Because I'm really confused how the fuck this motherfucker is still ranked. He is still number 12. And he's number 12 because of a Pedro Munoz win. Yes, he has a win over Song Yadong. I know everyone was telling me, oh, he has a win over Song Yadong. That was like a bajillion years ago. And honestly, it's kind of a controversial fight too. But let's be for real. That Song Yadong win is carrying him hard. Because he has not looked impressive. He gassed out against Rob Font, where Rob Font was able to take over after the first round, which was pretty competitive, and destroy him later. And then you got Vinicius Oliveira. He out-dogged Said Nurmagomedov. He destroyed him not only on the feet, but on the ground too. He was taking him down multiple times in round 3. And yes, both of them were gassed, but Vinicius Oliveira was able to do that and destroy Said Nurmagomedov with a broken rib. And now he's going to come in this fight a lot healthier. He's looked so impressive against his fights against Ricky Simon, against, Brendan Sopaj. Yes, but the Sopaj and Simon wins are aging very well. Said Nurmagomedov, such a good win as well, especially for a guy like, I think Said was a big favorite too. And I was the only one, I felt like I was the only one who picked Oliveira just because I felt like he looked super impressive. I think he would have been the guy to beat Said, and he did. And he did it very dominantly. And now he's very good. He's a very good striker, dangerous striker as well. He got so many tools in his arsenal. He's super fast and he has really good leg work as well. And with Kyler Phillips, he's a decent striker, but his gas tank is kind of suspect. And against a guy like Vinicius Oliveira, who is going to be putting the pace on him, putting the pressure, he's such a dynamic striker who keeps him guessing. I think Kyler Phillips is just going to get overwhelmed in this fight. I don't see this being a good fight for Kyle Phillips. I think he's going to get destroyed. I think he might get KO'd, honestly. So I'm going to go with Oliveira. I'm going to go with Oliveira by KO. I think he lands a really good knee on Phillips, gets a TKO. So Oliveira by KO. And this is going to be an entertaining fight regardless because they're both good strikers. So I think Vinicius Oliveira got this by KO. Keep repeating myself. I got to stop doing that. Next, we got the first part of the main card, Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. This is a banger in the making. I know people are hating on this fight because Michael Johnson on the main card and pay-per-view in 2025. Like, what the fuck is this? But Michael Johnson's been on a roll. He did have a good knockout over against Masaitar. But he's old. He's old, and he is not as good as he used to be. And the one thing about him is that he has the heart. He will find that KO no matter what. Even if he's losing, he will find the KO. And against a guy like Daniel Zellhuber, it's definitely possible you can catch him. You can definitely catch him. But I think Daniel Zellhuber is the lot better striker in this fight. I think he's the faster striker. He's the longer striker. And he has a good chin. He has a very good chin. He was taking hits from Ribovics, and Ribovics was just battering him. And he did not go down. I don't think Michael Johnson's chinning Daniel Zellhuber. I think Daniel Zellhuber is going to take over this fight. I think he's going to show levels, and he is going to outdog Johnson. Johnson's going to put in a good fight. I do see this going to decision. I think it's just going to be a scrap, and Daniel Zellhuber is just going to be able to get the better hits. I think his kickboxing is very good. He has some good knees, and I think with MJ, it's just like he won't be able to catch up with a guy like Zellhuber. Maybe in Zaitar he might, but with Zellhuber, I just doubt it. So I'm going to go with Zellhuber by decision. I think he's just going to dominate Michael Johnson for 3 rounds, so go with that. Next, we got Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Um, Dan Ige's been on a bit of a roll. I mean, he looked really impressive. I think he's still very good, but obviously he probably can't compete at a top level, but he is such a good gatekeeper. He had a very impressive fight against Sean Woodson. I know a lot of people are saying it was a shit stoppage, but he was winning anyways. I think he was up 2-0. Like, judges had him up 2-0, and maybe one judge had him 1-1. Even then, it's like, even in the third round, he wobbled Sean Woodson. Almost he dropped him as well. And, I mean, Sean Woodson was such a tricky striker for Dan Ige. I picked Sean Woodson because I felt like Dan Ige was just out of his depth in this one. It was like a David versus Goliath thing where, you know, like Sean Woodson's a very good boxer. He just had that big range advantage. I just felt like Dan Ige couldn't connect. But no, he did connect. He was able to not only pressure Sean Woodson, but he made Sean Woodson. I think Sean Woodson went into that fight just wary of his power, and that's why he wasn't putting as much output. Because I was expecting more volume from Sean Woodson. But no, Dan Ige just showed him who's the levels of the UFC ranked system, and he TKO'd him. And against the older guy like Patricio Pitbull, I mean, Patricio Pitbull got some power. He has some power. He's some good striking. I think he looked okay against Yair. I think Yair is really good on the feet, and Pitbull is just he's a lot older now, and it's clear he's out of his prime. He hasn't looked really impressive. He's before the Yair fight, he was like 1-2, and the UFC just signed Pitbull way too late. They could have signed him 4 or 5 years ago, and I guarantee you he would have been a mainstay at the featherweight rankings. But right now he is just old. He's a lot slower. It seems he's a lot more timid in his striking. He used to be much more aggressive, especially in his Bellator days. And I think Dan Ige is going to be putting the pressure. I think Dan Ige's volume is going to make the difference in this fight. He has very good volume, very good pressure, and against a guy like Pitbull, I think Dan Ige is going to be able to get a good win here. I don't know. I don't know if Dan Ige might. I think Dan Ige could finish Pitbull. Pitbull has been knocked out before. I think he could finish Pitbull. So I'm gonna go with Dan Ige by knockout. I'm gonna be really bold here. I think Dan Ige can land that right hand on Pitbull. I don't think Pitbull's gonna be able to dodge it. Dan Ige lands that right hand on his chin. I can see Pitbull going down. You know, so. Considering that Yair dropped him too, and Yair is not really a big, powerful striker, you know. So I think Dan Ige, if he connects, he will get the knockout. So I'm gonna go Dan Ige by knockout. Gonna go with a round 3 knockout. Think Dan Ige just gets better as the rounds go on. So think round 3, Dan Ige will be able to connect that shot and get a knockout. So go with that. Next, we got the feature bout. We got Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod. I don't know why this fight's being made. I know Colby's ducking. Colby's definitely ducking, but I felt like Kevin Holland deserved to step up. But hey, he wants to be active. He'll fight anybody. And they were supposed to fight for 279. I remember they were supposed to fight. Obviously, Kevin Holland fought Kamza on short notice. But yeah, man. I mean, I think Kevin Holland is getting into his zone here. I think at welterweight, Kevin Holland's very good. It seems that he's a lot more serious when he goes into welterweight. I feel like at 185 doesn't take the fight seriously because he's not taking anything seriously. But in welterweight, he seems locked in. He seems like he's training. He seems like he's actually putting out there good fights. He looked really good against Gunnar Nelson. Looked insanely impressive against Vicente Luque. And it's clear that not only Kevin Holland's a good striker, he's also a good grappler. I think Kevin Holland's boxing is better than Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez has some power here and there, but he was losing to Ponzinibbio before the knockout. Let's be for real. I feel like if he didn't knock out Ponzinibbio, he would have won, like 2-1. But yeah, I just feel Daniel Rodriguez. I mean, it's such a huge reach advantage too. Like I think Daniel Rodriguez is just gonna get outboxed. He's just gonna get outboxed. I think this is gonna be scrap for sure. But I see Kevin Holland maybe getting a late stage TKO. I think he'll be able to get a TKO on Daniel Rodriguez. I know Daniel Rodriguez is hard. It's not hard to finish. His chin is a bit suspect. So honestly, Kevin Holland, he's got some good knockout power, especially at 170. Think he'll be able to land a good right hand on him and get a TKO. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Kevin Holland by TKO, maybe round two. I'm gonna go with round two TKO. Think he's gonna land some good hits, have a dominant striking performance in round one against D Rod, and then round two, I think D Rod's gonna get more gassed, and then Kevin Holland's gonna be able to land that good right hand, and then put him out. Next, we got Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov as the co-main event. Paulo Costa on a co-main event in 2025, I don't know, but I think this is a good fight. Roman Kopylov is a very good striker. He has very good power. He's very good he has good technical striking as well. And I'm gonna go with Kopylov. Now, Paulo Costa, it's weird because you think he's gonna be good all of a sudden, but it's clear he's not. He's been saying all week long, "Oh, I will bring back the old Costa. I will bring back the Costa everyone liked." And it's like you've said this 5 times. It's never fucking happening. I think Costa's just not really into fighting anymore. I mean, he clearly likes to fight, but he is not like locked in like Roman Kopylov is. You know, he's clearly trying to make his own brand. You can tell in his last few fights he just hasn't looked the same. I think the Izzy fight kind of made him realize like, oh, maybe I can't reach the top level. And now he's going against another dangerous guy. I mean, I wouldn't say Roman Kopylov's dangerous. He was going to war with Chris Curtis, and I don't know. He looked really shit in the Anthony Hernandez fight, but anybody looks shit in the Anthony Hernandez fight. And he also had a very mid performance against Cesar Almeida. I think Paulo Costa at this point is just not good. He's just not good. It's very simple. I'd be surprised if Costa won this. He made washed Luke Rockhold, who was way beyond his prime, look good. That's how bad he's gotten. Got destroyed by Marvin Vettori. He got destroyed by Izzy. Robert Whittaker got dominated by Sean Strickland. And the Sean Strickland fight was just embarrassing to watch because I'm thinking this guy's going to make it a scrap. Strickland versus Costa, that's a scrap. Like, Strickland loves to scrap. Costa likes to scrap. It would have been a banger, but Costa just backed up, threw leg kicks, threw some body kicks. You know, but it was just getting backed up and just getting like dominated, just moved around the cage like it was a chess piece. He just looked really pathetic. And apart from the Whittaker first round head kick he got on Whittaker, the rest of those rounds against Whittaker, he was just getting dominated. It was a great comeback for Whittaker, but I feel like Costa just doesn't have that same aggression he used to have, and that aggression was what made him really good. But you know, when he fought a really good striker like Izzy, who was able to kind of use that aggression against him, use the leg kicks effectively to kind of stop him from going forward, you know, I think kind of dimmed the light in Costa's style where he's like, maybe it's just not, maybe I'm just not like that. And you could just tell it's now showing in all his fights, and now he's fighting a dangerous guy like Roman Kopylov. I'm going to go with Kopylov by decision. I think he's just going to dominate Paul Costa. Maybe Costa's going to have really good moments in round one and maybe even steal round one. I think Costa might come in here, you know, show that, hey, I'm still here. The old Costa's here. Then Kopylov might have some trouble in the beginning. And then I think as the rounds get on, I think Kopylov is going to be able to take over. So I'm going to go with a 29-28 Kopylov decision. It's going to be scrap. Don't get me wrong. But I think Kopylov is going to easily win this. I don't see this being a hard fight for him. Next, we got Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Fight we've been waiting for. I know a lot of people don't like this fight, but I can't wait for this fight, man. Like, this is such a huge fight, and this is such a good fight to end Dustin Poirier's career with a fight against Max Holloway. Guy he introduced to the UFC, a guy he fought for the belt, he won the belt off, and now Max Holloway is his last fight, just like Dustin Poirier was Max's first fight. This is such a good fight. This is such a guaranteed banger. And it's like the tides have turned now. I feel like in the second fight, Max was just coming in off the couch. I know 6 weeks is a lot to prepare, but it's clear he did not bulk up properly for 155. You could tell the power he had against Poirier, which is not it. Because he wasn't bulked up. He wasn't building muscle. He was building fat. And you could tell he looked a lot slower and he looked a lot less powerful. Especially going up in the weight division, you would expect him to be more powerful, but he did it. And I think Poirier was able to win just because of the fact that he was bigger, he was able to take Max's shots, and because he had more power. Because on the volume, Max was outstriking him. There were so many moments where Dustin Poirier was in trouble just getting outstruck, but I felt like he was able to take those shots, and Max Holloway wasn't able to take Poirier's shots. Now the tables have switched. Max Holloway is now properly bulked up for 155. He looked insanely impressive against Justin Gaethje, who literally was coming off a KO against Poirier. And Max Holloway masterclassed him. Like, it wasn't even close. He dominated him. I think he wobbled Gaethje like 5 times. I don't think anybody did Gaethje that bad. Max Holloway just broke his nose, and since then it was just like Max Holloway was just dominating him, and then he knocked him out in the last second of the 5th round after almost finishing him and pretty much just challenging him to a point down. It was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen from Max Holloway. I've never seen a performance like that from Max Holloway, especially against a guy like Justin Gaethje. That was an impressive performance. But now he's going against Dustin Poirier, and I know a lot of people are going to be picking Poirier. He beat him twice, man. I'm going with Max. I mean, at this point, I think Poirier's just been looking slower, and he's just getting older, and it's clear he's not in it to win it. I think he's in it to fight. He wants to make this a banger. He wants to go out here and go out on his shield. He wants to make this a banger. Now, Prime Poirier, if this was a Prime Poirier matchup, if they were fighting again maybe in like 2021, 2022, I would have picked Dustin Poirier still. But Max Holloway's still in his prime. He looks really good at 155. It's clear, like, the power he has in 155 is so much higher. He was hurting Gaethje so many times, and Gaethje has a tough chin. Like, he has a tough chin, and Max Holloway not only was wobbling Gaethje, dropping him, but he literally knocked him out cold. I don't think anybody's done that. And he was a featherweight coming up to lightweight. Max Holloway looks faster. He looks stronger. He looks a lot more... I'd say like his fighting style has changed a lot more since the second fight. He's a lot more defensive. He has more of a Muay Thai stance, which does make him better to intercept those leg kicks. And yes, Justin Gaethje was landing those leg kicks, but I felt like Max Holloway was able to take him because he was less off that light foot. Like, you could definitely tell like he was more on his back foot. And now he's kind of a Muay Thai stance, and I feel like that is the stance that beats Poirier. I think Max Holloway's body work, especially against Justin Gaethje, hitting him with the body shots, hitting him with the knees, I think that is what will make the difference in this fight. Poirier's just been looking slower, especially in the BSD fight. I mean, I think BSD is just really shit, and that's why Poirier was able to get him, because DSD striking is just not good. It's just not good, bro. And Islam was able to outbox him. And I know it's like, oh, takedown threat, takedown threat. He was defending the takedowns. And before I was arguing, oh, takedown threat. Yeah, Dustin Poirier was just the takedown threat. He was defending the takedowns, you know? And I just feel like Islam was able to outbox him because I think Poirier was just not able to intercept him that much. And now he's going against a faster striker like Max Holloway. Is the speedy striker like Max Holloway, who's really good at finding those angles, those body shots. It's able to kind of weave in and out of those exchanges, you know, land a few couples hits, weave out, and then land another good hit. It's those type of styles that gives Dustin Poirier problems, and I think Dustin Poirier has been able to take advantage because of the fact maybe either the fighter gasses out or leaves himself to be countered. I don't see any of those problems to be with Max Holloway. Max Holloway's not going to gas out, especially at 155. He's not going to leave himself to be countered because I feel like his defense has actually improved a lot. Especially in the Gaethje fight, he was a lot more defensive. I'm sure he's going to be more defensive in this fight because he knows Poirier has that knockout power. But yeah, man. I mean, I think this is going to be a 5-round war. I think Poirier is going to put it on him, but I think Max Holloway is going to have a better performance. We could even see a late round TKO, honestly. Like, maybe he challenges him to a point down. Poirier takes it, and maybe we could see Max Holloway land a really good right hand. But I don't know. I think it will be a very good. I think this is where Max Holloway will show just how good he is at 155, and I think Poirier is just he's just beyond his prime. I mean, even in the Justin Gaethje fight he had with him, the second one, he was beyond his prime. I picked Gaethje to win that because of that. I think, in my opinion, Max Holloway is just going to be the fresher, stronger, faster guy. He is the better boxer, in my opinion. I think he has really good combinations. He has better defense. And I think he'll definitely outstrike Justin Poirier. He outstruck him in the second fight. And rewatching that fight, it was way more competitive than they were painting it out to be. It wasn't some Dustin Poirier masterclass. It was way more competitive. It was like exchanging shots. Dustin exchanged shots, Max Holloway exchanged shots. But it was clear Poirier's power was getting to him. But I don't see that happening at 155. At 155, Max has that power now. So I think Max has more of a chance to knock out Dustin Poirier than Dustin Poirier does against Max. I really do think that. So I'm going to go with Max. And you know what? I'm going to go with a decision. I don't think he's going to knock out Poirier. I think Poirier is going to try to hang in until until 25 minutes ends. But I think it's going to be dominant 4-1, 5-0 maybe. Maybe a 4-1 masterclass striking performance for Max Holloway. I see him dominating the exchanges. I see him being able to intercept Dustin Poirier. And on the ground, I don't think Dustin Poirier is going to threaten Max that much. Max does have some good grappling defense. I don't see Dustin Poirier submitting Max Holloway. He did before in his first fight, but Max Holloway has beat some good grapplers. And even in Ilya Sport, when he tried to take him down and get his back, Max Holloway was defending him very well. And Ilya Sport is a way better grappler than Dustin Poirier. So I think Max Holloway is not going to be able to get submitted by Dustin. And I think he's going to be the better striker. And he's going to land the better hits. I mean, have you seen the size difference? I don't think Max Holloway is 5'11". Either Dustin Poirier is not 5'9", or Max Holloway is not 5'11". I'm kind of leaning towards Dustin not being 5'9", because he is pretty short. But yeah, I think Max Holloway is just he's properly bulked up for 155. Like, have you seen how he's looking nowadays? Like in his photos, he looks big. He looks big now. He looks so much bigger compared to his 145 frame, and he built some muscle. He's got some power. He's properly bulked up, and he looks lean. He looks like he's built some muscle. He's gonna be stronger in this fight, and I think the only reason why Dustin Poirier won that fight was because he had that power advantage, and because Max Holloway was on short notice, didn't take the bulk seriously. But now it's the tables have turned. I see Max Holloway winning this. I don't see this being a 3-0 Dustin. So, anyways, I got Max Holloway by decision. I think it's going to be a dominant performance. And I think it's going to be war. I think Dustin Poirier is going to have some moments here and there. But I think Max Holloway is just going to get the better of the exchanges. And honestly, if you look at it in a mindset way, Dustin Poirier is not really in it to win it. He's in it to fight. But Max Holloway's in it to win it. I think Max Holloway's just more motivated. Dustin, it's his last fight. He wants to go out on a shield. And you could definitely tell, like, even when he thought his Islam fight was going to be the last fight, if he treated it as his last fight, he wanted to make it a war. And then in round 5, he kind of sold the bag. And Max Holloway, now Dustin Poirier is a lot older. He's 1 year older than he was when he fought against Islam. So I think Max Holloway is going to just be in better shape. So I'm going to go with Max Holloway by decision. Anyways, that'll be all for this card. Let me know how I did. What do you mean, let me know how I did? Let me know if you agree with my picks or not. If you don't, leave a comment. Say if I'm wrong or something. Anyways, leave a comment. Subscribe. Leave a like. Watch my other videos. Subscribe. Follow my Instagram in the bio. Anyways, see you in the next one.